As I finished up the carpeting project, I'm still putting some trim pieces back that needed attention, and one of them is the closeout underneath the steering column, and it's got some stress cracks. I've gone ahead and I started with my Loctite 406 with my cyanoacrylate glue, and the things that are hairline cracks I've filled with that. There's a couple of them that still have a pretty good gap, and I'm going to do this with a combination of the plastic welder and probably a little bit of urethane to fill some of the gaps. Being that this part has to fit kind of flush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the back side and embed some metal screen to add strength, and then on the front side where the screws go, I'll probably fill that. If there are still remaining gaps, I'll probably fill some of that with urethane, because I think I can do it and leave a smoother finish. Okay, so at this point I've also got my respirator on just because I don't like the plastic fumes and I think it's safer. I've cut some pieces of screen that came with the Harbor Freight kit. I got the gun or the iron warmed up, so let's see if we can get these pushed into the plastic. It's starting to go. Just took a little bit to get the material warmed up. And I could probably add some filler material, but I really don't want it to get thicker here on this side. So for this I'm going to just rely on embedding the metal into the plastic and trying to fuse the base material a little bit. Well, that looks pretty good. Takes a little while sometimes to heat up the material. There it goes. Well, that looks like it embedded pretty well. And this one's had more time to cool off. I'll have to punch the holes out with a drill. But from a thickness standpoint, I didn't add much of anything to it, so it still ought to fit up just like it always would. And the opposite side looks good. These are the little spider cracks, so those are filled with super glue. And I say I'll probably trim those out. Like that one's got a little bit of a gap to it. I'll probably trim that one out with urethane. But hey, working pretty good. I think that'll be a lot stronger than what I had. Hey, that's good. That's a good technique. I'm gonna go put that, finish that up and put it in the car. Decided I needed to do these little back, these smaller holes too, so get these laid in there. Well, looks pretty good. Alright. You do have to watch how much pressure you put on here, because this tip will tend to flex, and I've had to straighten it out already. It's better to not push too hard. Now let's mix up just a little bit of this cement. Don't need a lot. I'll just give it a look pretty good. Now, I know I got too much on some of these spots, so I'm just going to wipe it off. All I want is what's in the cracks to seal the cracks. Trying to make it as smooth as I can. It's difficult. When you wipe it, you take some of it out of the cracks. I mean, most of this is, I'm working in areas that aren't visible. Alright, I think that's it. Well, we're going to let it set up, and then I'm going to punch out the holes with the drill. Well, drill out the holes where the screen is. And you ought to be able to put that back in the car. Alright, another part fixed.